So that's it, the 2024 season is finished. I've not been very good on the camera, but we have got a lot done on the car. Christmas is also out the way now. So it's now time to get this done over the winter, ready for hopefully to go testing if he decides he wants to go. So here's my dad's truck. So we've got the wheels off it, they've been cleaned up there. We've also got the exhaust off it because we stripped the threads in the cylinder head and it was chuffing in the last race. We've also got the gearbox out. The gearbox has gone over to Jamie Packham at JTech Automotive, who has turned it round nice and fast for us. So it's got new bearings in it, the shafts have been replaced. He's also blasted the casings for us and the bell housing, so it all looks brand new, so big thank you to Jamie. So that's all ready to go back in. There's a few more bits we need to clean up on it, like we're going to clean the exhaust up, and it's mainly this winter, it's just getting everything clean because yeah, it's had a bit of a life, this truck, this year. Got a few battle marks on it. We've also, at the last Brands Hatch, we had a few problems with axles. In the first race on the Sunday, my dad got off to a good start, was doing really well, and then he had a pinion tooth come off and go straight through the crown wheel, got crushed and out the rear casing. So I've got that completely in bits, getting everything cleaned. And unfortunately for my dad, he's got to spend some money on a new crown wheel and pinion for his, and get all the bearing races replaced because it's all had a bit of swarf go through it. So we've got the axle out of that. Once we're rebuilding that, and then we need to get all of the panels off. The panels got broken, get them replaced. And then whilst all that's also happening, I've bought myself a pickup as well. So I'm going to have a go next year in it. I'm going to go, I've put the 2-litre engine in it for now, so I'm just going to go testing it to see how I get on. Maybe not start right at the beginning of the season, just kind of get used to the car really. I've never driven a pickup before, and the only bit of circuit racing I have done was my Clio, so it's a big jump going straight into one of them, but I wouldn't have been able to do it if it wasn't for my dad and the Hadfields. So big thank you for my dad, and big thank you to the Hadfields as well for sorting the car out for me. So my dad's not too happy about it because already he's had to supply a load of bits for it, loads of spares, so his spare package now has started going down. So thanks Dad for my new ball joints, because my ones were slightly ripped. I don't think he knows that I've started emptying his spares out, but the drawers are getting thinner and thinner, which is good for us because that means technically everything's lighter to move around, but yeah, these weren't very good. So I've also stolen my dad's spare 2-litre engine. I know I've just got to try and convince him he needs a new gearbox so I can have his gearbox, but I'll try and plan that. So yeah, so we've got an engine in it. We've started mounting a few bits, like I've mounted the oil filter housing there, ready for Jamie to plumb up, I believe February sort of time, and then we've rebuilt all of the front hubs, got everything moving nice and free and slowly going through it all. I've now got to buy a seat, buy a fire extinguisher. I've also got the axle out of this one, and then yeah, just keep got to get a battery, just keep slowly getting bits and bobs for it. So I'm not in a massive rush to get out on it straight away. It's more just as and when I can afford to, I'll buy bits and carry on bitting it together. That's the axle out of my truck, which it's got a diff in it. I just got to try and put some poundage in it because you can, I mean, if I lock that off, you can spin that. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, but we're going to get that off and have a look. So yeah, so that one's slowly going together. That one's still coming apart. The pickups are coming out with a new front end for 2025, which my dad's ordered, so he wants to put a new front end on his. So we're going to get the front and rear off this, get it de-stickered, get everything cleaned, and then he wants to try and sort out his seating position a bit, because I keep noticing on his in-car, he's always pushing himself back up, and then as soon as he kind of comes into the pits, he can't wait to get out of it because he's not comfortable at all. But So we need to try and get it where he's a bit more comfortable in there, but we're a bit stuck on the pickups because you can't bring the seat any closer forward because then his knees will start hitting up here. We can't go any higher. The seat can go backwards a tiny bit, but not a great deal. So we need to spend a bit of time on the seating position for that one. And yeah, apart from that, it's just a case of getting everything clean. And the same with this. We get that one, get that going back together, get that one cleaned. Things like his gearbox and everything can all go back in now, and as soon as he spends some money on his axle, we can get all that back in. So yeah, so I think what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to get the front end off this. Might do a couple of bits on that. It's not really a great deal I can do to this because I can't finish the suspension until I've bought some shocks for it. I need to decide what I'm doing with the gearbox. But yeah, so like I said, there is a 2-litre engine, which Russell also borrowed last year. And the only reason I've put that in is because it's together. We know it works from when Russell borrowed it, and it'd just be something good I can go and get used to the car in. If I don't make the first couple of rounds, I'm not too fussed either way, because I mean, the pickup's a bit of a handful, so it's going to take a bit of getting used to anyway. So, but our transporter takes 2 cars, so I thought, you know what, if I can have a go as well, and I wouldn't have been able to do it if it weren't for the Hadfields as well, so big thank you to them. And yeah, roll on 2025.
Welcome to the start of the next video.
Yeah,
Autosport 2025. Me, Sam. Sam's cold.
It's cold.
Ray's on the phone. We've got here, it's about 8:30-ish. And there it is. There's the back part of the hall where all the exhibitors park. So let's get inside and see what's about. very shiny. If you're not already following it, he has got a big following, so you might already be doing it. And then these are all the people that he's done cars for.
5 years ago, we used to have 4 cars in our town. 10,000 square feet inside, 10,000.
I really want Santa Claus to bring me one of these.
I'm looking at the fucking car. Oh, sorry.
Frankie's Formula One. Sam wants to do brisca. And I want one of these. Class 7.
Stock car race. British, American and French drivers competed in the biggest knock-em-down, drag-em-out roughhouse of the year. And if you think it's strictly for men only, well, you're wrong. Somewhere out in the middle there are 2 lady drivers, one French and one British.
They're in the middle. They're cooking, yeah.
Stock car racing, England versus America. America were the winners, but as if we men watching this couldn't have guessed, one of the heats was won by a woman driver. Well, if you didn't have a smashing holiday, there are some people who did. They say it takes all kinds to make a world. And when you think what the H-bomb will do, why shouldn't we break up a few things first?
Racing came to Britain from America 7 years ago. Is it a genuine sport or just an infantile craze? Unlike ordinary motor racing, it doesn't contribute to motor car manufacturing. Perhaps it's simply an outlet for drivers who get too much of this. But one thing is certain, the 1,000-odd stock car enthusiasts in Britain should never run short of raw material. They build their cars from a variety of parts, all of which can be picked up pretty cheap. A powerful 6 or 8 cylinder engine can be got for about £30.
So incomplete Betthurst as well. Wayman goes in with the bumpers. Into turn 3, Harris back in. Spin back to the front. Wayman now there side by side. Into turn number 1. Harris drops back to...
A little bit of a nod to the cars over the years, and it's 70 years it's been going strong for. Let's bring a couple of cars out for you first, or we like to hear things fire up. So why not we start with that 1950s car, the Ford Planet V8 from 1930 Ford Model B, started its race back in 1954. Second car, Frankie Jr. with a 600 brake horsepower V8 Chevy engine. Let's hear it a bit, shall we? There you go. To see these cars in the flesh, we see them in the live action arena here at Autosport.
Everybody thinks they're handful to drive, but obviously, you know, you're 700 brake horsepower on a long diff on racing tyres, so yes, they can be a handful to drive, but in the same essence, we actually hit each other, so you haven't got to worry about hitting other cars, have you? Because you're going to hit them anyway.
Well, there is that. We're talking about the 70th year. I can't believe it's been going strong, and it's in uninterrupted years as well, so it's great to have the competition. What for you was the appeal of getting into brisca F1 primarily, but the backstory as well?
It's slightly different for me because I was born into it. My dad raced before me, obviously. So I was just a natural straight into the cars, but nowadays I spend a lot of time helping people doing experience days to get into the racing, and the faces and what they feel when they race, you can just feel it off them, and it's absolutely superb. I mean, they're just an animal to drive, you know, it's something it lives with you forever.
And they're also so unusual to look at, and we're so used to seeing racing cars with the same size, you know, front, left and right, you know, the same size wheel tyre. Yeah. But everything's offset, isn't it, for the way you go around? You have completely different tyres as well in there. Just talk us through, from this point, if you glance over there, what we're actually looking at and the differences, the subtleties we might not notice to start with.
Yeah, obviously we have to run a lot rear end differential, so we have to run different size tyres on the back. So we usually run between 5 and 6 inches of staggered difference across the back 2 tyres. Otherwise these cars just wouldn't turn left. They just would not turn left. You know, they've got that much grip, that much power. But obviously, you know, we run on the shale, so we're totally sideways. So it turns out to the spectacle.
And it's great to see the amount of tracks you're still going to around the UK as well. I was in Kings Lynn, I think it was middle of last year, and I was doing a totally different, unrelated job, a car job at an auction house, and I came out and I could hear the oval track there firing up, and it was just like I couldn't get there, but I was desperate to get there and see what was going on. But I mean, 70 years, talk us through the sort of the backstory then. I mean, you're probably the best person to tell me a little bit about the backstory of brisca F1. Because no, not because you're old, but because you're involved in it. But it's amazing where it all came from, and it is amazing that with 70 years on, it's still going, and probably going, you know, with so many followers and fans here to see it.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously that is a car that raced right in the beginning, the old car there from 1954. That's an original car, you know, a flathead Ford. It's what they ran, a Model T body. And obviously, like you said, for 70 years we've been one of the best followers in the UK. And nowadays, you know, the racing and the crowds we get, it's just absolutely superb.
The only thing it lacks nowadays is the TV coverage it used to get back in the day, because it used to get terrestrial TV coverage, didn't it?
Yeah, we are on telly a little bit, we're on Sky a little bit. It never really does it proper justice. People, if they see it on telly and then come and watch it, it's just a completely different thing to feel it, to feel the, you know, when you're stood at the side of that track and them cars are coming around that track, 35 cars, you can actually feel them going around. You don't just hear them, you can feel them. And like I say, it's full contact, so you know, that's a totally different mindset to most racing.
Yeah, and predominantly they're Chevy small and big block engines as well, so we can be so used to the noise these things produce. And you touched on power-wise there, that just how what a beast, what an animal it is to drive as well. But you're talking about the kind of sensation is how close you get to the action. These things, I mean, it's terrifying how close you get to the action.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a full contact sport. You know, the best drivers, the fastest drivers start at the back every race. So, you know, you've got to move cars and get in cars. It's not just a case of hitting other cars. There's a skill in hitting the car and overtaking it in a correct way, so you're not losing time. And that's where the top lads, gain most of their time.
70th anniversary. We've got to really talk about that. 70th anniversary of the Drivers Association, the BSCDA, the F1 Association. What is being done this year to celebrate this whopping landmark?
Well, obviously we're doing a lot of promotional stuff, and then we're doing a full tour this year. We're going back to Great Yarmouth, which we've never been there for years. We're racing in Scotland. We're sort of doing a tour all over the UK where, there's normal tracks as well, obviously. People can get involved with that and get on board with that.
I grew up in Farnborough, and there was Rushmore Arena used to have, it's still got it actually, still has a track there. Unfortunately, it's not one that you go to, but I believe it might be coming back at some point. I'm hoping anyway. It'd be good to see. The anniversary itself, then, like I say, it is an incredible thing. 70 years ago, we're talking 75 years in Formula One, which is incredible. You think 70 years this has been going. And what is the route difference? What is the hope, the ambition when you get into one of these and races? Is Brisca F1 the pinnacle? Can it go anywhere else? Do you look at it and go, it's a stepping stone? Because it seems to be its own entity.
Yeah, for definite. The problem is with the sport is that good. Once you get in it, you don't want to get out of it. I mean, we've got a few drivers now who are flying to America and racing in America a little bit, but there's still nothing compares to racing these cars competitively. The actual... Without actually racing yourself, it's hard to explain it, but it's something I never ever wanted to do anything else. Once I raced one of these, nothing else had any interest in it whatsoever. I've driven other things, I've been around tracks and other things. Nothing's got anything on it.
We know by the sound of the field, and I'm just looking down the list here. The European Championships is going to be held in Northampton in June this year. The World Championship at King's Lynn in September as well. So it's still got its roots very much in this country.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And obviously we go over to Holland to race at Venray, Blauhaus as well, the King's Battle. We've got meetings over there. Obviously we're flying out to New Zealand in a couple of weeks to take part in the teams and all that again. So it is a global affair. We just keep doing what we can do.
If you look at the last 70 years of this formula, where's it sitting in its competitiveness? Where is it sitting currently?
Been in one.
Have you seen the MSV stamps?
No, I've got to find it.
We used to do
She's stunning, isn't it?
Sorry?
Stunning. Well, we've about done the show. Very empty this year. Mr. Bean's had an official electric upgrade. bet you that flies. Probably won't be there. Well, we're back from the Autosport show. It's Saturday. Sam's gone to move his brother. His brother lives up in the Cotswolds, and he's moving back down to Newbury. So Sam's gone to do that in his Transit, and I've just had a phone call from Sam saying his Transit is smoking really bad. It's smoked out the dual carriageway, and the engine's trying to run on with itself. So I told him to leave it in gear and get the engine to stall, because if not, then they carry on running up until it's a catastrophic failure or there's a fire. So I said just load the engine right up, get it to stall, which he's done, and I'm now on my way up there in my van to tow him back. So that's an engine to rebuild that I really didn't want to rebuild, but there we are. I'll get some footage when I get to him. And there they are. Let's get my seatbelt off. There's Sam.
Rescuing Sam.
How is Sam?
Sam's okay. Sam's broke down though.
Who's got the better Transit?
Mine.
No way. There's the turd.
We have a runaway engine.
Oh no.
With no oil in it.
Oh dear.
And it's got one in the back. This is where engine was going wrong, and there is soot all in the light, and it's everywhere.
Right, let's get Sam loaded up and get him home.